Yad hey wah hey hey yad hey. Bawaka Hashem Iwa. Hawa Hawa. What's going on, everybody? Hope everyone is well. What's going on? Yashira, Yashirun, Yashirites, people of the upright path. What's going on? Sister Sarah Knowledge, aka My Copper. Sister Brown Fox, Lex Will, Education Center, aka Let Us Find the Truth. Brother B Down. M.W. Smith, what's up? Anybody else that I miss? I hope everyone is doing well. Hope everyone is doing well on their journey, the Aboriginal Indigenous journey. I'm just here to drop some more information regarding the law. So I'm going to get right on into it, show y'all a few different videos to make my point, make my case, excuse me. I'm going to make some points and then I'm going to show you some information regarding the law. But hopefully right now, excuse me, I'm just unwinding from that road. Got a couple of days off, so here we go. All right, so hopefully by now you understand that your remedy, the majority of your remedy is in the law, okay? And that it is our lack of understanding, our lack of knowledge, right? Hosea chapter 4, verse 6, my people are destroyed from the lack of knowledge. Because you have rejected knowledge, I also reject you as my priest. Because you have ignored the law of your creator, I also will ignore your children. Right? A lot of you would like to consider yourselves priests and kings, right? But yet you don't know the Most High's law. Right? Right? How you gonna be a king respectfully and you don't know how to govern? Think about that, right? How you gonna be a priest and you don't know the law, right? Again, my people are destroyed from the lack of knowledge because you have rejected knowledge. I also reject you as my priest because you have ignored the law of your creator. I also ignore your children. Okay? All right? It is our lack of knowledge of this law we're being taken advantage of on a day-to-day basis, right? We're walking around in this commercial commerce environment and we have no idea, no clue of what's going on around us. We don't know these jurisdictions we're in or under at the time we're in them. You know, a lot of you like going out shopping and, rightfully so. And you're in these commercial commerce zones, start paying attention. When you I'm here in Georgia, so, you go to downtown Decatur, it's a nice burrito restaurant I like to go to over there. You look at the street signs and tell you Commerce Parkway, Commerce this, Commerce that, right? Atlantic Station, same thing, right? It's a commercial zone, commercial commerce. I don't advocate that you walk on eggshells. What I advocate is that you start educating yourself on this environment that you're in so you can educate your children, your brothers and your sisters, your mothers and your fathers, your aunts and your uncles, your sons and your daughters, so they understand what's going on. This information is for everyone, but I'm specifically speaking to Yashira, Yashiruns, Yashirites, people of the upright path, right? We're being taken advantage of because of our ignorance of this law and other things. So I just want to share information with you. As I learn, as you learn, I'm learning. Right? So let's get on with it. I just want to show you a few different videos just to bring you. Now, this particular video right here. Now, this happened 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. Right here in Alpharetta, Georgia. Right? They pulled a 65-year-old Mennonite woman out of her vehicle. And I'll let you see the video for yourself. All right? Because this is how we're being taken advantage of. All right.
Come on for him. All right. Come on out. Move. Come on out. Move away from me. Hey, get ready, George. Shut the f*** and get out. Yeah. What are you talking to him? What's your name? Calm down. What's your name? Take off with the rag. Shut your mouth. No. Are you the supervisor? Man, bring all the food on. Come on. Where's the supervisor? All right, where's the supervisor? Where's the supervisor? What's the supervisor? Where's the supervisor? Come on. Supervisor, I need the supervisor. So bad for you. Let me call in for 10 minutes. I want the supervisor now. I want my supervisor. I want the supervisor now.
Okay. So in case a lot of you are trying to understand while you're taking that in, how some of this stuff applies to these scriptures. The Most High will bring a nation from afar, from the ends of the earth, to swoop down upon you like an eagle. A nation whose language you will not understand, legalese. A ruthless nation with no respect for the old and no pity for the young. Deuteronomy 28, 49, and 50, right? Now, go back here. This dude right here. Now, right after this incident happened, this officer ended up resigning. All right? I mean, it's clear why. However, I would like to see how he would react if somebody did this to his grandmother, his mother, his sister. All right? And so I want to make this disclaimer. By no means am I saying all men and women who put these uniforms and badges on and these guns on every day are crooked, evil, are out to harm people. And I want to make that very clear. I believe there are, because a lot of these people are your mothers, your fathers, your sons, your daughters, your uncles, your aunts, your brothers and your sisters, right? Right? So it would be reckless for me to sit up here and try to paint this picture that's untrue about this applying to all police officers. So again, I just want to make that disclaimer. I'm not, by no means am I saying all police officers, all law enforcement, man or woman, fit this description. This type of information is about these people like him and anybody else that it applies to. May the Most High, in his righteous judgment, visit all of you who use the law to deceive, to destroy, to harm any of his people by deception. All you judges, lawyers, prosecutors, all you who use this law, the Most High's law, to destroy families, to take advantage of people, may the Most High, in his righteous judgment, visit you on your doorstep, day in and day out. May calamity, death, and destruction strike you. May your children and your family members become victims of your own evil schemes. All praise and glory to the Most High. Higher, higher. All right?
George, shut the f*** and get out. Yeah. What are you talking to him? What's your name? Calm down. What's your name? Take off with the rag. Shut your mouth. No. Are you the supervisor? Man, bring all the food on. Come on. Where's the supervisor? All right, where's the
fact, there's a reason why I showed you this one. We're gonna get back to that. Show you this other one. The reason why I'm showing this to you is because in this particular case, a young lady was jogging and she had on earbuds. Okay, they were doing a jaywalking sting, and the reason why I'm laughing because I can't believe that a jaywalking sting. But however, the reason why I'm showing you this one is because a lot of you are walking around like this with headphones on, right? Listening to your music. Again, I don't advocate that you walk on eggshells. I just advocate that you be aware of what's going on around you, okay? And so they were doing the jaywalking sting, and of course, she got her headphones on, she's jogging, she's just doing her thing. So this could happen to any of us at any time, so I just want to make you aware of these things. Again, this is what's going on around you, right? In these commercial
Keep Austin weird. That's the motto of Austin, Texas, which is the capital of Texas. It's a somewhat liberal bastion in a sea of relative conservatism. Here's what happened in Austin, Texas. The police arrested this poor young woman for jaywalking while she was jogging. Here's what happened. She had her headphones on. She was jogging. They had some sting operation going on trying to bust people who were jaywalking, right? And they said, stop. And she couldn't hear them because she had her headphones on. So they went running after her, and she couldn't hear them. So they grabbed her, which freaked her out completely. She didn't know who was grabbing her. And they demanded to see her identification, which she didn't have because she was jogging. She wasn't driving. She was jogging. So she said, I can't give you my... So they start to arrest her because she didn't have ID.
Yeah, and she keeps saying, just give me the ticket, please. Yeah. But just let me go. Yeah. Just give me the ticket. They decide to arrest the girl.
Let's take a look at... This is near the University of Texas campus. Let's take a look at the video that somebody shot. They were witnessing it as it happened.
I saw you.
Her up off the sidewalk to whisk her away in a cop car. She's freaked out. She doesn't even know what she did.
They are terrorizing the poor young woman. I feel absolutely awful for her, but I'm also incredibly upset that my taxpayer dollars are going to that. Really?
So
that's the most important thing you could do right now.
And this makes the news, and so the police chief is...
Now, if you want to check into that more, there's the video. All right. Again, there's a reason why I'm showing you that. Now, I'm going to show you another one. I used this before in another video. There's a reason why I'm using this.
An unlicensed driver hit his car, but he's the one who went to jail. When an police officer cited Jamar Harris for obstructing traffic, he refused to sign and accept the ticket. KATV News Watch 7's Dave Roberts looked into this. He's live. Dave?
Well, if you get anything out of this story, it should be how not to go to jail. It's always a good idea to do it.
Again, this was a damage control. Mr. Dave Roberts here was trying to spin this garbage to make you think otherwise.
Tell you, and in this case, if you don't, you're instantly committing a crime.
If I don't agree with it, I won't sign it.
Jamar Harris didn't agree with the ticket handed to him by an Omaha police officer after an unlicensed driver hit his parked car. Harris refused to sign the ticket, citing him for obstructing traffic.
He said, well, I'm going to give you one last chance. Sign it or go to jail. I said, well, sir, it's like you're going to have to put me in handcuffs then.
So were you shocked to have to go to jail for not signing a citation?
Yeah, because I've actually, in the past, I refused to sign a citation. And they just throw the ticket at me and tell me, whatever, we'll see you in court.
And if you don't promise to appear in court, which is what the signature is, then the officer is going to arrest you and take you to jail. That's what the
Okay. If you don't sign the ticket, your signature is a promise to appear in court. That's what your signature is. You are signing a contract. Okay.
Whatever, we'll see you in court.
And if you don't promise to appear in court, which is what the signature is, then the officer is going to arrest you and take you to jail. That's what the statutes provide.
And that is true, right? Now, I'm going to show you the statute here in Georgia in a minute. Now, all right, so let me take you over here. All right. Now, Atlanta Police Department. I'm here in Georgia, right? Atlanta Police Department. The Atlanta Police Department is the law enforcement agency of the city of Atlanta, Georgia, U.S. All right? Corporate state of Georgia, right? Now, what is an agency? An agency is a business or organization established to provide a particular service, typically one that involves organizing transactions between two other parties. Business, organization, company, firm, office, bureau. The office or function of an agent, right? Atlanta Police Department is the law enforcement agency of the city of Atlanta, Georgia, U.S., right? A business or organization established to provide a particular service, typically one that involves organizing transactions between two other parties. Municipality, a city or town that has corporate status, and local government, borough, town, city, district, precinct, or township, excuse me. All right, now, okay, so a lot of you coming into this information are trying to tie these things together, and I'm here as well as other people to help you understand what it is that you're involved in, or what it is, this environment that you're in. These police departments are not constitutional authorities, all right? They are nothing more than businesses, corporations, right? They're nothing more than your Walmarts, your Targets, your McDonald's, so on and so forth, right? These might as well be Target employees with guns, because all they're doing is enforcing their corporate policy, right? What is the corporate policy? That corporate policy is, state codes. Okay? All right? State codes. All right, let me pull this up on another screen because I don't want to lose that. Right? Of course, I'm going to show you Georgia because I'm in Georgia. Right? All right. So, corporations have rules and regulations that they must follow. The Georgia State Code is the rules and regulations that these law enforcement agencies must follow. Right? State troopers, your police departments, your county sheriffs, so on and so forth. Right? Your police departments and your state troopers. All right? These are not constitutional authorities. They are nothing more than law enforcement agencies, businesses. Law enforcement agency, a business or organization established to provide a particular service, particularly one that provides organizing transactions between two other parties. So these law enforcement agencies are transacting business between the corporate state of Georgia and its citizens. They're transacting the business of charging you for the purpose of taxation. Remember, when you're in the public, you open yourself up to charges being in the public. And charges are nothing more than taxation. All right? That's what these agencies are for. All right? So what I'm getting at is that you need to understand, or excuse me, I suggest you further your understanding in the law as far as what a corporation is, because you have a right. You have rights, and no one can force you to sign a contract. That is against the law. That is why I showed you this video again, because that's what this is. That's what's involved in this. Yes, that is what their corporate policy says, in which I'll show you that in Georgia, that they can arrest you because that's what the statute says. However, because they are a corporation, an agency, a business, no one can force you to sign your signature. And this is what me and other people are trying to get you to understand. Okay? So then therefore, that means you must further your knowledge in the law. Again, this is where your remedies lie when you are violated. See, we cannot, we have no control over people who put these uniforms on, who hold these guns and these badges. And if they go out and mistreat someone, we don't have any control over that on a day-to-day basis, as far as them getting up, going out, doing what, doing some evil, right? What you do have control over, though, is educating yourself, your children, your mothers, your fathers, your sons, your daughters, your aunts and your uncles on this type of information, because you have remedies if you are violated. Okay? A lot of you don't understand that, and again, it is because why? My people are destroyed from the lack of knowledge, because you have rejected knowledge. Right? Okay? All right? So it is in the law that you have your remedy. All right? Now, Second Timothy chapter 2, verse 15. Study to show thyself approved unto the Most High, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Right? All right? Take you back to the 10 commercial maxims of law. In commerce, truth is sovereign, right? In commerce, truth is sovereign. It's the third maxim of commercial law, right? So we're in a commercial environment, a commercial commerce environment. In commerce, truth is sovereign, all right? So I would think that as you get a better understanding of this environment that you're in, that you will want to get right to the meat and potatoes of these things, and that is the law. All right? So I'm going to show you something else. A lot of us, you hear people talk about this all the time. The police, they have a constitutional oath. They took their oath of office, so on and so forth. You hear this stuff on all kind of, information on YouTube and things of that nature. But have you actually read this information yourself? Do you understand that these people who put these uniforms on, again, not saying all men and women who wear these uniforms are crooked, but for those that are, do you understand that they have to abide by a code of honor, code of ethics, and an oath of office? Okay? Again, these police departments state troopers, police departments, they're nothing more than businesses. However, they have taken an oath. They have taken an oath of honor. They have a code of ethics that they must adhere to, and they also have taken an oath of honor, or excuse me, an oath of office. All right, and I would think that you would want to know what those are, because these people violate these things on a day-to-day basis. Okay, so let me show you. Code of ethics, code of oath of honor. Now, this is, again, because I'm in Georgia. Now, this is the Atlanta Police Department Policy Manual. I would think you would want to make this a part of your understanding in what area that you may be in. You need to familiarize, or excuse me, I suggest you familiarize yourself with this information. We cannot afford to continue walking around in this environment ignorant and blind to what's going on. Okay? For those of you who don't know, we are under occupation. Okay? And these laws and all these statutes and these things of this nature are being used against us on a day-to-day basis. And in order for you, if you are violated, to receive proper remedy, you must understand what you're dealing with. All right? Again, I don't advocate walking on eggshells. I advocate educating yourselves so you can educate your children, right? All right? Again, this information is for everyone, but I'm specifically speaking to Yasharites, Yashara, Yasharoons, all right? People of the upright path. All right? So again, Atlanta Police Department Policy Manual. All right? Purpose: to establish procedure for administering the oath of office, provides officers with a copy of the oath of office and the law enforcement code of ethics, and to describe the scope and the limits of the law enforcement authority of the Atlanta police officer. All right. It is the policy of the Atlanta Police Department that employees will take the oath of office prior to assuming sworn status. All sworn employees will adhere to and abide by the oath of office. All sworn employees will adhere to and abide by the oath of office and the law enforcement code of ethics. All sworn employees will perform their duties within the limits of the laws, ordinances, rules, written directives, oath of office, law enforcement code of ethics, and Georgia Post regulations. All civilian employees will also adhere to and abide by a canon of ethics concerning their responsibilities and duties. Again, check in your relative areas. Responsibilities. The chief of police or his or her designee will administer the oath of office to incoming officers and ensure that the officers understand the meaning of the oath of office and the law enforcement code of ethics. All employees taking the oath of office will read and request clarification on any points they do not understand. Employees will not take the oath of office until they understand the meaning of both the oath of office and law enforcement code of ethics. All sworn employees will be familiar with and perform his or her duties within the limits of his or her authority. All sworn employees will be familiar with and perform his or her duties within the limits of his or her authority. All employees within the department will receive mandated ethics training on an annual basis as provided by city ordinances and standards of conduct. Civilian ethics training can be in the form of classroom, roll call training, computer-based training bulletins, or any combination of, right? Action. Oath of office. The oath of office will be administered to police recruits after they have successfully completed all of the required training at the Atlanta Police Academy, but before they are assigned to field training. The employee will sign, here we go, meat and potatoes, The employee will sign the oath of office form. Contract. The employee will sign the oath of office form just as his or her name appears on the form after taking the oath of office. A notary public will immediately notarize the employee's signature, and the oath of office will be placed in each employee's department personal file. Okay? So, when you hear this information, again, it is your responsibility to fact check this information. Of course, like I said, you want to read if you're in Baltimore, if you're in Chicago, or wherever it is that you're at, this is a universal, and I'm calling it universal. This is a universal oath of office, just as well as the code of honor and the code of ethics. And I'm getting ready to show you that. All right. So, limits of authority. All Atlanta Police Department sworn employees have limits of authority as defined by laws, ordinances, departmental policy, rules, written directives, oath of office, and post regulation. Sworn officers have the authority of peace officers within the geographical boundaries of the city of Atlanta as defined by the laws of the state of Georgia. These are the rules and regulations. Okay? Rules and regulations right here. If you're in Illinois, you want to look up Illinois state codes. If you're in Texas, you want to look up Texas state codes. If you're in Maryland, you want to look up Maryland state codes, so on and so forth. Right? These are the rules and regulations that they must adhere to. Right? Now, going back. Excuse me. All right? Again, all Atlanta Police Department sworn employees have limits of authority as defined by laws, ordinance, departmental policies, rules, written directives, oath of office, and post-regulation. Sworn officers have the authority of peace officers within the geographical boundaries of the city of Atlanta as defined by the laws of the state of Georgia. Atlanta police officers receive police powers from the city of Atlanta through their employment with the Atlanta Police Department, which is what? A law enforcement agency. Police powers are conveyed from the city of Atlanta to the Atlanta Police Department through City Code Section 98, 27-27, function and duties of the department. All right? Again, how can you combat something? And again, this is not towards the Atlanta Police Department. How can you combat something if you don't understand what it does, what it is, and what it's supposed to do? Right? Again, we cannot afford to keep walking around here ignorant and blind in this environment. All right? So, it is time to properly educate yourselves on these matters so you can properly educate your children, because they're not going to teach them this in these public schools. Okay? It is your responsibility to teach them the law. Remember, they'll throw that in our face in a heartbeat. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. Right? Right? The Most High says, study my laws, statutes, and commandments. All these laws come from the Bible. Okay. Now, if you want more on that, Atlanta Police Department Policy Manual. So whatever city you're in, look up their policy manual. Chicago Police Department Policy Manual. Baltimore Police Department Policy Manual. Whatever the case, whatever applies to you, that's what you look it up. That's what you look up. All right. So now, definitions. Certified peace officer. A person employed as a peace officer who has satisfied all post, pre-employment, and training requirements has been issued a post-certification number. Law Enforcement Code of Ethics. A code of conduct published by the International Association of Chief of Police now, and adopted by the Atlanta Police Department as an official code of ethics. The code is as follows. Now, the chief of police is not a constitutional authority, right? The chief of police is nothing more than a corporation, International Association of the Chiefs of Police. They're not constitutional authorities, meaning they're not, chief of police is not elected. The chief of police is selected through the ranks of their own corporation, right? This is nothing more than a agency, okay? All right? Now, the International Association of Chief of Police, again, the reason why I said the oath of honor, the code of ethics, and the oath of office is universal, because this applies to all police departments all over the U.S. Okay? All right? Oath of honor. Now, before I get into this oath of honor, okay, so, all right, now, law enforcement code of ethics. As a law enforcement officer, my fundamental duty is to serve the community, all right? To safeguard lives and property, to protect the innocent against deception. Now, a lot of you already know these first, what is it? My fundamental duty is to serve the community, to safeguard lives and property. Now, you know how many times on a day-to-day basis this is violated by some of these officers? Again, this is not an attack on officers, men and women who have taken these oaths and adhere to these code of ethics and things of that nature. Again, remember, a lot of these people are your mothers, your fathers, your sons, your daughters, your uncles, your aunts, your brothers, and your sisters. Okay? So this is not towards them. This is towards these crooked-ass police who are out here doing all this bullshit, taking advantage of innocent people. Okay? This is what this is about. All right? As a law enforcement officer, my fundamental duty is to serve the community, to safeguard lives and property, to protect the innocent against deception, the weak against oppression or intimidation, and the peaceful against violence or disorder, and to respect the constitutional rights of all to liberty, equality, and justice. Okay? You understand what's going on here? I will keep my private life unsullied as an example to all, and will behave in a manner that does not bring discredit to me or to my agency, my business, my corporation. I will maintain courageous calm in the face of danger, scorn, or ridicule. Develop self-restraint in thought and deed, both in my personal and official life. My will be exemplary in obeying the law and the regulations of my department. Whatever I see or hear of a confidential nature or that is confided to me in my official capacity will be kept ever secret unless revelation is necessary in the performance of my duty. I will never act officiously or permit personal feelings, prejudices, political beliefs, aspirations, animosities, or friendships to influence my decisions. With no compromise for crime and with relentless prosecution of criminals, I will enforce the law courteously and appropriately without fear or favor, malice or ill will, never employing unnecessary force or violence, and never accepting gratuities. Okay? I mean, this right here, I would think you want to educate yourself and your children on. Okay? I recognize the badge of my office as a symbol of public faith, and I accept it as a public trust to be held so long as I am true to the ethics of police service. Excuse me. I will never engage in acts of corruption or bribery, nor will I condone such acts by other police officers. I will cooperate with all legally authorized agencies and their representatives in the pursuit of justice. I know that I alone am responsible for my own standard of professional performance and will take every reasonable opportunity to enhance and improve my level of knowledge and competence. I will constantly strive to achieve these objectives and ideals, dedicating myself before the Most High to my chosen profession, law enforcement. Okay? Now, here's the oath of office. I, so and so, do solemnly swear or affirm that I am duly qualified according to the Constitution and laws of Georgia to perform the duties imposed upon me as a police officer or special police officer of the city of Atlanta, Georgia, and that I will, to the best of my ability, discharge the duties thereof and preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the state of Georgia. So what does that mean? You should also educate yourself, whether you're going to be public or in a private capacity. You should educate yourself on the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution. In my particular case, it is Georgia. In your particular case, it may be Illinois. In some other cases, it may be Maryland, Texas, whatever the case may be. You should educate yourself on your state/country constitution. The fact that your state, like every other state, has their own separate constitution from the Constitution of the United States ought to tell you something. I swear that I am not the holder of any office of trust under the government of the United States, any other state, or any foreign state which I am prohibited from holding by the laws of the state of Georgia. Nor am I the holder of any unaccounted for public money due this state or any political subdivision or authority thereof. I further swear that I will enforce the criminal laws of the state of Georgia and the ordinance of the city of Atlanta, that I will abide by the rules governing the Atlanta Police Department, adhere to the law enforcement code of ethics, and uphold the ethics code of the city of Atlanta. In doing so, I will be mindful of the trust that has been placed in me to improve the quality of life and make every effort to live up to that trust. I will not persecute the innocent, nor help to shield the guilty, nor will I be influenced in the discharge of my duties by fear, favor, or affection, reward, or the hope thereof. So help me the Most High. Hey, right? Now, go back up to the top. It is the policy of the Atlanta Police Department that employees will take the oath of office prior to assuming sworn status. All sworn employees will adhere to and abide by the oath of office and the law enforcement code of ethics. All sworn employees will perform their duties within the limits of the law, ordinances, rules, written directives, oath of office, law enforcement, code of ethics, and Georgia Post regulations. All civilian employees will also adhere to and abide by a canon of ethics concerning their responsibilities. All right? Now, again, I just wanted to go to the part where it says, okay, oath of office. The oath of office will be administered to the police recruits after they have successfully completed all of the required training at the Atlanta Police Academy, but before they are assigned to field training. The employee will sign the oath of office contract. The employee will sign the oath of office form, just as his or her name appears on the form after taking the oath. A notary public will immediately notarize the employee's signature, and the oath of office will be placed in each employee's department personal file. Now, I'm going to make a suggestion to all people, especially Yashara, Yashurun, Yasharites, people of the upright path. You need to print this oath of office, this oath of honor, Okay, we're going to read that. I'm going to read that next. Right? And the code of ethics out. Laminate this. Carry them on your persons, in your vehicles. Because this is what they need to be held to. Because this is what they're supposed to abide by. Okay? Now again, if you're out here committing crimes, you running amok, running a ride, you know, they got a place for you, you know, shit happens, it's on and popping, I understand, right? Hey, it is what it is. Y'all out there playing cops and robbers. But for those of you who are going to work every day, who are out here just trying to feed your family, you out here just trying to survive, you're not out here breaking laws, things of that nature, so on and so forth, this is what they need to be held to. This is where your remedy lies, okay? Understanding this information and enforcing this information if you are violated. Again, let me take you to the 10 maxims of commercial law. Number 7, a matter must be expressed to be resolved. He or she who fails to assert his or her rights has none. If you're not willing to exercise and enforce your rights, you don't have any. And that's how you will be treated, as someone who doesn't have them. It is your responsibility to educate yourself and your children. Again, educate your children, your mothers, your fathers, your sons, your daughters, your aunts, and your uncles on these matters. We are under occupation. Okay? It is very important that you educate yourself on these matters so you can understand what's going on around you. Now, let's read the Oath of Honor. Law enforcement oath of honor. Again, this is universal, right? This is coming straight from the International Association of Chief of Police, another agency. Law enforcement oath of honor. On my honor, I will never betray my badge, my integrity, my character, or the public trust. I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions. I will always uphold the Constitution, my community, and the agency business I serve. All right? Okay? There's the oath of honor. Print that out. All right? Because again, these agencies have rules and regulations that they must abide by. A lot of this stuff you see going on in these videos that you may see on YouTube and on the news, they're not supposed to be doing these things. Now, again, you know, I get it. You out there playing cops and robbers, you know, you having shootouts with the police, you breaking into stuff and, you know, all kind of different stuff. You know, that things are going to go the way they're going to go. It is what it is. Again, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people who are out here trying to abide by the law, you know, which in order to abide by the law, you must educate yourself on the law, because at the end of the day, it is in the law where your remedy is if you are violated by one of these individuals who are nothing more than common crooks themselves, walking around in uniforms, badges, and guns. Okay? All right? Again, Code of Ethics, which I just read that already. International Association of Chief of Police Agency. All right? All right? So I would think you want to print out the Code of Ethics, Oath of Honor, and the Oath of Office. Because, once again, that's what you're going to hold them to. All right? Moving along. Now, okay. So I just want to share this with you. Get this wrapped up. Now, excuse me. I just want to make a point. And that is the reason why I showed this video here. Now, after what I just read to you from that oath of honor, code of ethics, and the oath of office, how many violations do you see?
Come on up.
Read that to your children. Read that to your children. Read them the code of honor, the code of ethics, and the oath of office. Watch these videos. This video, and other videos. Again, at your discretion, at your leisure, and you tell me how many violations do you see? Now, remember, that woman, that's somebody's mother, right? That's somebody's grandmother. Now, I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show you something real quick. See this dude, that dude, they know that shit is wrong. They know it. You can see by their reaction, they're cringing as this is going down. Okay? They know that's wrong. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 6 of them on a 65-year-old woman. Look at her. I don't want to have no parts in this. Let me get away from this. Let me pretend I'm doing something else. I'm going to walk over here. Hey, man, I don't want to have nothing to do with that.
I need to take a bite. Don't bad for you.
Damn, look at him, dude. You need to chill out. Look at him, turn his head, walking away. I don't want to have nothing to do with that. Now, how many violations do you see? Right? At your own leisure, check it out for yourself. All right? That's why I showed you that video. Okay? Tied in with this oath of office, code of honor, code of ethics. All right? All right, moving along. All right. Start knocking some of these out. That. Okay. Now, I'm going to show y'all something. And again, I'm reading from the Georgia State Codes. Why it's important for you okay. Now, introduce yourself to your state codes, the rules and regulations. Okay? I would think you would probably want to start with motor vehicles and traffic, right? Because in your everyday life, this is something that will affect you on a day-to-day basis. Because if you're driving every day, then when you're out in the public, this is what you open yourself up to, right? But as you can see, it covers wheels and truss, waters, torts. Torts are important for those of you, especially for those of you who are living a private life, right? But anyways, it just tells you everything you need to know about the beast you're dealing with, okay? Because this is what this beast, and I'm talking about this corporate beast, is supposed to adhere to, all right? But I'm going to show you something. All right. Now, this is from 2016. I'm just going to read it. But anyway, I want to show you something. All right. 40-13-2.1. Signature, right? Now, they're telling you that if you don't sign, right, they can take you to jail. Well, I'm going to show you why that is. All right. A person who is issued a citation as provided in this chapter or code section 17-6-11 relating to display of driver's license in lieu instead. The company issued additional shares to shareholders in lieu of a cash dividend instead of. Right. A person who is issued a citation as provided in this chapter of code section 17-6-11 relating to display of driver's license instead of bail shall sign the citation to acknowledge receipt of the citation and of his or her obligation. Remember, your signature is a promise to appear. Obligation to appear for the trial. Now, what are we dealing with? Municipalities and agencies, right? No one can force you to sign a contract. That's what these are. You sign your name, you are contracting to appear. So what that's saying is you need to understand how to sign your name in a way that you reserve all your rights. Okay? Shall sign the citation to acknowledge receipt of the citation and of his or her obligation to appear for the trial. The officer shall advise the person that signing the citation is not admission of guilt and that failure to sign will result in the person having to post a cash bond. If the person refuses to sign the citation, it shall constitute reasonable cause to believe that the person will not appear at trial, and the officer may bring the person before a judicial officer or a traffic violations bureau to post a bond as to otherwise provided by law. Now, again, no one can force you to sign a contract, so that means you must understand how to reserve your rights, as well as we know that there is no money to pay for anything, and that you do not have to use these fiat notes. However, this means you must further yourself and educate yourself on how to write your own negotiable instruments in case you do come across one of these situations. Okay? So you can post your bond if you have to. Again, I'm not advocating walking on eggshells. I'm just advocating educating yourself on the environment that you're in, right? You need to learn how to write your own negotiable instruments. I'll start you off with Brother Yusef L, and you expand and expound from there, okay? All right? Educate yourself on how to write your own negotiable instruments, all right? Now, if the person refuses to sign the citation, it shall constitute reasonable cause to believe that the person will not appear at trial, and the officer may bring the person before a judicial officer or traffic violations bureau to post a bond as it is otherwise provided by law. Now, check this out. Signature on citations required effective failure to sign exemption for out-of-state drivers. Now, Section B. The provisions of subsection A of Code Section 17-611 shall not apply to a person in possession of a driver's license issued by a state or foreign country that has not entered into a reciprocal agreement regarding the operation of motor vehicles with this state as provided in Chapter 5 of Title 40, which provides for the suspension of a driver's license by the other state or foreign country of a person who fails to appear for trial trial of a traffic offense committed in this state. All right? Remedy. Future remedy. Reciprocal. a given, felt, or done in return. She was hoping for some reciprocal comment or gesture of an agreement or obligation bearing on or binding each of two parties equally. The provision of subsection 8 of Code Section 17 shall not apply to a person in possession of a driver's license issued by a state or foreign country. All right? That means that the state you're from, if you're driving through this state, has to be in agreement with the state or you're exempt from this. Now, a lot of you already know, eventually you need to be foreign to the corporation, right? A lot of you already know you will be able to create your own society, nation, so on and so forth, right? If it's a nation, it would be foreign, right? Let me show you. All right. This is the American Declaration of Rights of Indigenous People. Article 1. The American Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People applies to indigenous people of the Americas. Self-identification as indigenous people will be a fundamental criteria for determining to who this declaration applies. Right? The states shall respect the right to such self-identification as indigenous individually or collectively in keeping with the practices and institutions of each indigenous people. So we're going to go down to Article 22. I'll skip past it. All right. Excuse me, Article 21. Article 21 of the Rights of Indigenous People, American Rights of Indigenous People, as well as the UN Declaration of Rights of Indigenous People, right to autonomy or self-government. Indigenous peoples in exercising their right to self-determination have the right to autonomy or self-government in matters relating to their internal and local affairs, as well as ways and means for financing their autonomous functions. Indigenous peoples have the right to maintain and develop their own decision-making institutions. They also have the right to participate in the decision-making in matters which would affect their rights. They may do so directly or through their representatives in accordance with their own norms, procedures, traditions. They also have the right to equal opportunities to access and to participate fully and effectively as peoples in all national institutions, including deliberative bodies. Excuse me. All right, but anyways, the reason why I showed you that, again, self-government. So if you were self-governing yourself and you had your own system of identification, so on and so forth, right? Whether you're a tribe, nation or society or whatever the case may be. Again, fact check this information. That would make you exempt from this BS. You understand? The provisions of subsection A or code section blah 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 shall not apply to a person in possession of a driver's license or identification issued by a state or foreign to the corporation, foreign country that has not entered into a reciprocal agreement. If you belong to a nation or a country or whatever the case may be that does not have an agreement with this particular state regarding the operation of motor vehicles with this state as provided in Chapter 5 of Title 40, which provides for the suspension of driver's license by the other state or foreign country of a person who fails to appear for traffic offenses committed in this state, shall not apply to. You're exempt from this. All right? Again, future remedy. Right? Right? A lot of us were under contract because we carry the identification. We're using the identification of the corporate state. Right? You have the right to self-govern yourself. All right? A matter must be expressed to be resolved. Commercial maxim number 7. He or she who fails to assert his or her rights has none. Okay? Now, I'll show you something. Article 42 of the Liber Code. Liber or Liber, whichever one you prescribe to. All right? General Orders number 100. You can go to the Avalon Project and look at this for yourself. Instructions for the government of armies of the United States in the field. We're under occupation. For those of you who didn't know, we have been under martial law since 1863, right? We have been occupied by a force. Fact check that for yourself. However, let me show you something. Now, instructions for the government of armies of the United States in the field. What is the United States? (28) U.S. Code 3002 definitions. 15. United States means a federal corporation. Instructions for the government of armies of the United States in the field. Article 42. Slavery, complicating and confounding the ideas of property, that is of a thing, and of personality, that is of humanity, exists according to municipal or local law only. Right? Municipality, a city or a town that has corporate status. Do it like this. I can tie this in for you. Okay. Article 42, slavery, complicating and confounding the ideas of property, that is of a thing, and a person and of personality, that is of humanity, exists according to municipal or local law only. Slavery is only recognized by corporations. The law of nature and nations has never acknowledged it. The law of nature, Most High's law, and nations has never acknowledged slavery. Okay? We are enslaved by corporations, municipalities. Okay? Municipality, a city or town that has corporate status and local government. We are enslaved by corporations. So for those of you who are trying to gain a better understanding about what's going on, I suggest respectfully that you start digging into this law. If you really want to know what's going on top of knowing the history, Again, I have nothing against the history. The history is very important. However, the history will do you no good as a slave. Okay? We are enslaved by corporations. The law of nations does not observe slavery. Okay? And there it is. Again, it's just to bring further light to those of you who need a better understanding. For those of you who are beginning to understand the information, who are trying to share this information with other people, you know, it is being said that, yes, I agree, we have been miseducated on purpose. Yes, I agree with that. We have been lied to and manipulated, deceived, and all of that. I am in agreement with all of that. However, you must have an affection for the truth, okay? If you don't have an affection for the truth, you are in a strong delusion, okay? Again, we cannot continue walking around in this environment ignorant. We must educate ourselves. We have been sent to these public schools, as well as, you know, we're sending our children and so on and so forth. It's a vicious cycle to these public schools, and we're being miseducated on what's really going on out here. I want you to think about something. If we've been under martial law since 1863, right? Why they don't teach that in school? You know, there's something to think about. You know, I would think that would be very important. You know, we've been going to school. I don't remember learning about none of that in school. Okay, not in the respect of the context of what we're learning about now. Okay, so that means they're trying to hide that from us, and the fact that they're trying to hide us, I'll let you know something, which, you know, it's telling me that somewhere along the line they did it illegally. The hijack, that is. But, you know, that's for another video. However, it is time for you to educate yourselves. Again, this information is for all, but I'm specifically speaking to Yashira, Yashiruns, Yashirites, people of the upright path. Right? We cannot keep walking around here ignorant. We got to educate ourselves. We're in an environment, and this environment can be very deadly to us if we're not aware of things. All right? Again, the meat and potatoes of what's going on is in this law. Okay? That's where your remedies are. All right? What I just showed you about the code of ethics, the code of honor, so on and so forth, the oath of office, that's serious business. Okay? That's how you, among other things, can protect yourselves from being violated by exercising and enforcing your rights. In order to do that, you must know what your rights are, and you must know how to exercise them properly, intelligently, and articulately, right? Now, on that note, I'm just going to leave you with a couple of different definitions where you can go back if you like to and just replay them over again. Now, this has to do with corporations. All right.
The first topic we will discuss today is contracts. A contract is an agreement between two or more people or entities that is enforceable by law. A contract can be either written or verbal, although certain types of contracts are required to be in writing in order to be enforceable. We will discuss these types of contracts later in more depth. A contract is created by an offer and acceptance. An offer is a promise to do or refrain from doing some specified thing in the future. For example, I will give you $5,000 for your car. Here, person number one making the offer is promising to sell his car to person number two. An acceptance is where person number two either promises to give person number one $5,000 or actually renders the money. An acceptance to an offer creates a contract. Revocation. A revocation is where person number 1 takes back his offer before person number 2 has the opportunity to accept it. In most states, this revocation would be effective upon receipt by person number 2. Counteroffer. Person number 2 may also make a counteroffer. For example, he might say, "I'll give you $4,000. Rejection. A counteroffer serves as a rejection. A rejection of the offer, such as "no thank you," extinguishes the offer so that it may no longer be accepted at some other future date. Consideration. A contract will not be valid unless it is supported by consideration. Consideration is where someone gives up something of value in exchange for something of value. Nominal or sham consideration. Nominal or sham consideration.
All right, so I'm going to stop it right there. All right? All these corporations, companies, agencies have to abide by rules and regulations. They are under international private law, contract law. Please educate yourselves on law revolving around contracts. Excuse me for that. All right? So on that note, I just want to recap real quick, and I'm going to get on out of here. So hopefully, again, for those of you just getting into this information, and for those of you who are trying to get a better understanding, I would think you would want to educate yourself on the United States Constitution, as well as your respective state constitutions, as well as this law. Because again, if you're violated, hopefully you never are, but if you are, you know where to seek your remedy and how to properly go after it. Okay? Again, these law enforcement agencies, as well as these public officials, have taken the oath on the Constitution to uphold the Constitution, and so on and so forth. So again, that's what you want to educate yourself on. That way, you know how to combat this beast if you ever need to. Okay? And so with that, I'm going to leave you with this gentleman here, Richard Mack. He's a former county sheriff who had a successful lawsuit against the federal government. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this to your attention is because, see, it's one thing for us conspiracy theorists and truck drivers and, you know, people who don't, who are considered not to have any credentials to validate this type of information. You know what they say. So if you don't believe me, let the Caucasian man tell you, right? So anyways, he successfully filed a lawsuit against the federal government that had to do with the fact that one of the points I believe is that the federal government, the county statutes versus constitutional rights is what this boils down to. And this gentleman, as well as other sheriffs, they're about the Constitution, upholding the Constitution and not state statutes. Okay? So, but you can familiarize yourself with him and others like him. And again, I'm just bringing this to your light to show you how serious this is in the background around you. These things are going on. But here's the video, okay? It's an interesting video, interesting perspective. Again, this is coming from county sheriff, the constitutional authorities, okay? All right? So just so you know, they're having their little internal thing going on, all right? So I'm going to leave this, I'm going to put this in the link. I'm not going to play it through. You can watch it at your leisure. But anyways, at the end of the day, educate yourselves. All praise and glory to the Most High. Heya, heya. Yah hey wah hey yah hey. Baraka Hashem Iwa Hawa Hawa.